You're not even recording, man.
Welcome into a national champion edition of Tavern Takes here. I'm your host, Josh. We got Beaker joining us and our national champion fan
National
friend,
champion.
Will. And congratulations on your national championship.
Go Gators. I was right. Cole, you were wrong. Go Gators.
That
Same
was
with Sawyer. Sawyer was wrong too.
Yeah. Sawyer's not joining us tonight. I gotta imagine he's soaking
Coward.
in that Houston L
Coward.
that he took.
Coward. Same with Cole. He was tired. Cowards. Dare to go against me and just run away.
Hey, Will,
Cowards.
do you remember when the tournament started? You remember that bet about the $25 that Cole bet you?
Still waiting. Still waiting. He in typical Cole producer fashion, he passes it on to somebody else.
Yep.
And now he's expecting me to go after Sawyer, but he owes me
I was gonna
my
say, I mean,
earnings.
Sawyer corrected the other national championship game team correct. So I think for Cole's sake, he needs to pay you.
Well, I made the bet with Cole, so it's
Yeah,
only right that Cole pays me.
it's between a you and Cole bet, not a you and Sawyer bet. So,
Yep, exactly.
and I will say, shout out me, I was smart enough to not take that bet. So
Yeah,
clearly it showed.
everybody but Cole thought that was an awful idea, but when he offered it to me, I was like, sure. I was just coming off Florida winning the SEC tournament, so I was feeling great.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that game was awesome. Never a doubt really with Florida all tournament. I guess they've been just doing this where they get down in the first half and just make a miraculous comeback and win every freaking game. It seemed like it was insane their run that they had to this, but they're a hell of a team. That was a hell of a game, and shout out Houston though too. It was a good game. It was a fucking awesome.
Cardiac Gators.
It was an awesome game. I will say.
The like I was telling you before we started, I my worry meter only got above 6. Well, it didn't get above 6. It was 6 the whole tournament, I think. And there's at no point did I go above 6. Every time you checked on me, especially today, Florida went on the run after it was after it was answered. Man, but the one reason I felt good about it, and I said it on the pod before, it was Florida had the better player, and Clayton. Shout out to Houston for their defense. They played Clayton hard. They were making him pass it every time. He couldn't do anything. I was saying Florida needed to be more unselfish. I said that in the group chat. I felt like they passed up a lot of shots, but they played. I mean, Houston played really solid. But at the end of the day, Clayton had 11 points in the second half, and I
Needed all of them.
better
Needed all
players,
of them.
man.
Oh yeah. That was as a pure basket. Like I said it last night on last night's pod. As a pure basketball fan, that's what it took. I mean, that's what it takes to win a national championship. It takes grit, it takes grind, it takes determination, and it takes ways to where like coaches are going to coach, they're going to do what they need to do, but at the end of the day, the players got to make the plays, and Florida made just enough plays to get by there, and it looked like, and honestly, the defense was so engaged in that last 8-minute stretch right there. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, both teams' defense
Back and forth.
It was just, and then it was so fun to see the buckets because like they were all hard earned baskets. There was no free ones. Even despite all the turnovers, Florida again still prevailed when it comes to the biggest thing that I noticed in that game is there wasn't so many live ball turnovers. Where like other games like Texas Tech, like that's what kept Texas Tech ahead for a long time is live ball. So God, Condon couldn't stop traveling in the first half. I was ready to rip his head off.
He had a really bad tournament.
He just, I think that ankle injury, he just like, I don't know, his confidence just went way down after that.
So
go ahead.
To add to your turnover point, Houston only had 9 points off of turnovers, and Florida had 13.
That's crazy, actually, with how many turnovers they had in the first half.
That's a great point, dude. Like,
Yeah,
and I did say that to myself too. It was especially in the second half. Like those are they hurt, but like one of them after they turned it over and then I think they ended up fouling, and I was like, well, only 2 points. It only cost them two.
The biggest thing that I think also you can add to it is, okay, Houston was in foul trouble. Obviously, both teams were in foul trouble in the second half. Double bonus with, I don't know, 9 minutes to go for just about both teams.
Insane.
That was so
6 minutes in.
Completely different, completely different half, from the first. But when it came down to the fouls, with Houston losing their bigs early, late, like middle of the half, they stopped putting two guys on the free throw line with the free throw shooters. And so that took away their offensive rebounding because they didn't want to give up the break. And I get it, but that's that's how Houston scores points is offensive rebounds.
They were beating them up on the old boards in the first half.
Oh, killing them.
Not to interrupt you, Beaker, but like one thing that I noticed too, like even at the end of the game when Sharp had that three that he ended up traveling on, to your point though about like the offensive rebounding, this has been the best rebounding team in the country, and you don't even try to take it to the hoop. You try to go for the win when you didn't need it. Like and you had 13 seconds left. Go to the hoop, and like if you miss, your odds of getting a rebound is probably higher than Florida's rate. So
very high.
Like, go drive it. I know that's a tough spot, but like Will and I were talking about this before you got on. We were just like, I don't know why they didn't risk just going to the rim.
They had 10 fouls.
Yeah, like take your chance and maybe get into the free throw line. Like
I was telling you, I'm like I was saying, don't foul. There was like 19 seconds left. Don't foul, because it would have been an easy bucket. But
yeah, I mean he ended up having to burn that second timeout when Florida went on their run, and that's when it and then he used the timeout, which rightfully so,
Well, that was when it was on the review. Florida went on that running. He did a review, and I said bad, and I told you guys bad mistake, coach. Or it's because he wasted it. It was too early. It was about a minute left.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out that text, but like in college basketball, under 2 minutes they review everything. It could be literally off anybody. So that's why I was like, he used that timeout when it was like 36 seconds left to go or something like that.
Yeah.
The last one was about 36, but the second one was with a minute left.
Okay. I thought he used that second last one earlier because of that big run. But the big run before that too, when Florida had gotten it a little close, was they had to burn that timeout on an offensive rebound because the number 5 was like Roberts was stepping out of bounds. So that's why he called the timeout. So they had 2 timeouts in situations where it's like, okay, it's fine. But then it came back to backfire because they did not have the on a timeout set like they needed, and Florida, give credit to Florida. Their defense that last 5 minutes was just hounding. I mean, they were switching. They were doing good jobs on every hedge and ball screen and every dribble handoff. They were just keeping them stuck. Where didn't let Cryer get downhill, didn't let Sharp or Uzan get downhill, and it was just that's what wins games.
I think it was game when it was like 36 seconds left, and it was Houston had the ball. And then they just dribbled the ball out for a little bit and did nothing. And I was like, you got to go for the 2-for-1 there. You got to do something. Because you got to make, at that point, you're down. So you got to make the game longer. And then that's when Florida got the ball back and they almost turned it over right back to them. But
that pass by Walter Clayton made me like shit.
They practiced that because the way that he threw it, it's like he's supposed to be in a spot and he's like, fuck it. Aberdeen is right down there somewhere, and he just threw that. He didn't look. But to Sampson's credit, because I think he made a couple mistakes, but to his credit, Sharp was open.
Yeah.
He had to shoot that.
That
That was a
last drive.
clean look. I don't know why they went for the win. I get it. I mean, I liked the balls for it. I wouldn't have done it. I would have gone to the basket because I mean, you put the pressure on the defense there, but that was a clean look. It was a clean look.
Clayton's closeout was literally late, but he got there just in time. And he honestly, you don't want to be the one to touch it, but you might as well just touch it to foul and put him to the line.
I was going to say that too. You might as well just touch it and put them on the line. I mean, they were only down 2, right? So, like, your worst case scenario, they make both, and you go get a hurry up basket and go foul again. I mean, like, that's your worst case scenario. So
I don't think they would have had enough time for a 2 because it was only like 4 seconds, but they definitely could have gotten maybe one of those guys misses and you get a half quarter off, kind of like the Gordon Hayward style. And
it's March, dude. We've seen crazy shit happen in March.
Oh yeah, it's the craziest month of the year when it comes to sports. So,
and that's what I mean. I think Samson fucked up by not going for the 2-for-1 early on. You got to make the game longer at that point.
Yeah,
make sure you get possessions.
Yeah,
but I will say for kind of a chalky tournament, we had a great Final Four and national.
It was awesome
game.
Yep.
So this was like the basketball you wanted to see in the Final Four and in the national championship game. It was awesome.
And I said I'll piggyback off of what I said the other night when it came to the pure basketball standpoint. That's where it's like, I know everybody wants the drama, wants the upsets, but again, it doesn't make for the best basketball, and this is what makes for the best basketball. I mean, if you love the game and you truly like, even if you just watch it, like, and you don't, if it's for a pure casual fan, they hate it. But it's like the people that watch it and thoroughly enjoy the sport. This is what we want. We want the best duking it out at the end.
Yeah, I to kind of backpack off of what you said. I'm not going to name his name, but I was talking to a friend of mine like this whole time who was like, "Oh, no upsets, no this, no that. This has been boring, blah blah blah, like all this kind of stuff." I'm like, dude, but you don't understand. This is actually awesome. Like, there's so many good teams in here, so many good coaches, like so many good players. I mean, like some of these like 12, 13 seeds that like you would have expected to maybe see in like a Sweet 16 because it happens, like Elite 8 maybe even because it happens, like they would have been annihilated by the teams that were left.
Oh,
I mean, absolutely.
It's all NIL though. I think this is what we're gonna see from now on.
This is NIL. I think so.
It could be, but I feel like Florida didn't use that much. Like Florida's bigs are.
What are you talking about? I mean, they're young, but all their guards are transfers.
Oh yeah, no, but they got these guys 2 years ago.
Yes,
they
did develop them. It was when Golden came over.
Duke is, I was listening to Dan Hurley's interview today on Pardon My Take, and Dan Hurley said the roster construction from Duke was literally like perfect. For them to not win it, it was crazy. Houston's had these guys forever. The only team that I think really had spent a lot of money on NIL really is Auburn. And I mean, Duke's guys that they brought in, those dudes were from mid-majors. The big guys from Utah Valley, like the other, Sion James was from Tulane. I can't imagine they're getting that much money to come to Duke when
I feel like they are. I think they're getting. You're playing for Duke. You're making at least $1 million.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean,
that's a lot of money.
The guy that they probably paid was Mason Gillis because he was a senior and he was playing for a Power 5 team already. So the two dudes they brought from Utah Valley and Tulane, sorry. And I'm like, I didn't even know who those fucking guys were up until they got to Duke. So
my point is maybe that the money is they didn't spend that much money, but my point is that you're gonna start seeing you lose kind of like the lust where you kind of have like not an obsession, but a relation. You kind of feel like a relation to these guys. Like you watch them grow up and develop all these through 4 years. I don't think you're going to see that as much, but you're going to start seeing teams that are, like you said, like well built, like people play chess. Okay, you do this style, you'll fit better here. Type of players, and I think you're going to see better basketball because of that.
Yeah,
I also too think that like a lot of these mid majors that do make the Sweet 16, Elite 8 runs that you see, at least one team a year around, that's not gonna,
gone.
it's not gonna exist anymore.
yeah, it's going to happen very rarely. It's going to be one of those things where it all just depends on how the basketball bounces, whether
Right.
you
Yeah.
you know. So it's going to be more strategic and the better coaches at those levels.
Right.
For instance, like you look at the dude from Drake going from a D2 school, 3-time D2 national champion, goes to Drake. All of a sudden now he's Iowa's head coach. Okay.
Right.
I mean, that's because he's playing frickin' literal chess out there. And he was right there. Who did Drake beat?
Missouri.
Missouri. Okay. And then who did Drake have to play second round? Third.
Good question. I don't know.
But so I mean, Drake was right there in that game too. Like, I think it was Tech, wasn't it?
Tech. It was Tech. It was Texas Tech. Yeah.
We were beating Tech for a little while too, a pretty long while in that game too. And it's like, it's going to come down to what you have. It's going to come down to resources for sure. That's where they messed up with the whole NIL thing, where it comes to there's no limitations. So
I think they're gonna change something. I feel like I don't know if I was talking to you, Josh, but I was talking to somebody and I was telling them I feel like my solution to this NIL thing is kind of like make it like baseball. Like make these guys commit to at least 2 years and then have like an out clause. Like if a coach leaves, then you can leave too.
Yeah.
You can transfer out of there. But I feel like if you're gonna commit to a school or have an NIL contract or something, it should be a 2-year thing.
I heard a proposed idea. I think it was on part of my take for some reason that sticks in.
And then have buyouts.
Where like freshmen get like X amount, sophomores get X amount, and like you can climb the ladder. But if you transfer, you go back to like your freshman. Like you're not like allowed to like climb a ladder if you keep transferring around. So like
that's not fair.
I kind of like it because it keeps you there in a spot where you're going to get the most money. Like,
I guess that's if for the school paying you, yeah, but like for let's say for your ability to earn money, I don't think there should be a cap to that. But yeah, like the amount the school will pay you if you transfer, absolutely. But like it shouldn't restrict you on, let's say like you are Juju Watkins and Nike wants to sign you. I think that's bogus. So I think she might be with New Balance, I think, or some shit. Never mind.
Yeah, something.
Either way, though, they gotta do something. They gotta do something to change it. Like the year to year thing. Like it's got to be at least 2.
There has to be an incentive to stay. Right now, there's an incentive to leave.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
I would suggest it for you. Like I said, I just listened to over the weekend the Jay Billis interview on Ryan Russillo, and he goes on a pretty hard rant with it, where like Russillo just asked really good questions, and just to get a better understanding. And Billis has always been a guy that has wanted players to get paid, and
he always did,
always supported it. And now he's not backing down on it, but he just said they really made a mistake with how they let things just burn out. And now coaches, like for instance, he brings up the coaches thing, like the coaches portal is always open. Like it doesn't matter that we just saw it twice within the same year where coaches are, I'm retiring, or he didn't get the demands met with him like Willard did at Maryland. Like Willard his agent was openly negotiating with Villanova during the tournament. And obviously that's not open, but we know that's happening. Because, I mean, literally less than 12 hours after Maryland loses to Florida, he's Villanova's head coach. And then the West Virginia thing, like I said on the one.
But come on, man, he can't stay an extra night with his players in New York. Come on.
Yeah, like okay, whatever, But and the funny thing about Maryland is they think they're a football school, but really they've never been a football. They are a basketball school. They literally have a national championship in basketball. Like, just commit to basketball. So I do
forgot they won a national championship. I was just recently reminded. They've been kind of irrelevant for a minute, and there's so much
2003.
talent. There's so much talent in that area too, like especially basketball.
Well, right.
Yeah.
The DM, what is it? DMC, right? Or
DMV.
DMV, yep. Okay. That's, I mean, there's so many ball players from there. I mean, Kevin Durant obviously is the top one in most recent years, but like,
Easy. Yeah, from that area too.
Breaking moves here. Sawyer is not on today because he won a bowling championship and is celebrating.
Oh, he's not the only one celebrating today.
So he did say, "Congrats, Will. Sorry, I am not there." So that's where our boy Sawyer is. I guess
I wanted a apology not accepted because I wanted a personal video.
Yeah, it's gotta be live on Tavern Takes is what it's gotta be.
I want everyone to know that I'm the only one that came on after something happened in the tournament. Sawyer didn't come on after Marquette, took forever, and then our producer went MIA. So
I faced the Flyer.
You did. You did. You did. You did. You're not a coward. You're not a coward.
And I knew it was coming, and I knew it was only fair because we put Sawyer in hell too. So I faced the Wisconsin Fire.
We did Sawyer so dirty. I feel terrible for him. Like,
I mean, I really don't, but
it's me either. I'm like the amount of shit he talked after he lost. No,
that's true.
That was a Marquette supporter.
Yeah, that is true. Well, we definitely have to get something NFL wise where there's like.
I think we're gonna have to. This is live thinking on Tavern Takes here, but I think since it was Cole's idea to put Sawyer in a ringer, I think we got to somehow put Cole in a ringer, and that would be to put him on for like a Seattle game because
he wouldn't last.
I don't think he would last.
He turned off the pod.
Dude, he left that Badger game.
That's what I heard. Yeah, that's what I heard.
It was me, Miller, and Cole, and he left.
That's what I'm saying. He would never do that. He would never do that.
Won. I was like, dude, Cole cannot watch games.
It would be great content.
It would be hilarious to watch him leave in a live show.
The world would finally be able to see the roller coaster that Colby is.
It is
everything that like we take in and embrace as being his friend.
Overreaction after overreaction. That's how we end the pod.
That's how we end the pod. So yeah, again, shout out Will. Go Gators. It was a freaking awesome game. Tournament's over.
Hey. Gators are a blue blood. That's all I'm saying. It has to be in the conversation.
I'm kind of
in the conversation.
I think I'm kind of with you on it, honestly.
It has to. Three in the 2000s.
Three in 20 years. I mean, what is it? And then like 5 Final Four appearances.
I think 5 or 6.
That's a hell of an argument.
Yeah,
blue blood.
That thing that I saw there hasn't been a national champion in like I don't know, like 50 years. That's from like, or not, maybe not 50 years. Like 35 years or something like that.
Like from like the middle of the country to like.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that was before the tournament started.
Kansas over. It's so wild. I'm like, what the hell?
Something another thing that's crazy because there's so much talent in California, but none of them stay there. California, Arizona, none of those guys stay there.
UCLA, that's insane. And there's so much like bigger schools over there too. Like, then I feel like bigger schools on that side than there is on this side.
UCLA got every championship in like the 70s, or the 60s and the 70s, so they've got their titles up. But I did want to say one more thing before the pod ends. The out of timeouts by Todd Golden tonight were absolutely on point.
Dude,
we chatted.
We were talking about that. I feel like I wasted all my good points before the.
I was like, as a basketball coach, it was just like, it's orgasmic. Like,
he had a great game. He had a great game.
Oh yeah,
we didn't say he coached his best game. We said he coached his best game.
That play to tie it up from Clayton was just incredible. The disguise of the curl around that double, and he was wide open. I mean, wide.
Every time out of timeouts, just money plays.
Oh yeah, like just.
I feel like both coaches had a great game because again, going back to what I said about Sampson, that last play, Sharp was open. That was a good. That's as a coach, that's all you can do.
Yeah, that wasn't on Calvin Sampson, not at all.
Yeah, that was a great set call, even though they couldn't come out of a timeout with it. But like, again, like as a basketball fan, it was just so fun to watch. Yeah, it was a grinder. It wasn't necessarily the most exciting game to watch. Like when it comes to like everybody wants points, but like Houston's a team that does not score a lot of points typically. The only time they score a lot of points is if it's a overtime / track meet game. And Florida's a team that runs and guns, and they weren't allowed to run and gun.
They slowed them down.
And Houston was going to
three guys back every time.
Right. Whether Houston wins or loses, they're going to make you play your pace. And that's exactly what I heard today on the Pardon My Take episode. And it's like Houston's going to make you play their game. And Florida just never wavered. They got down 12 and they just pushed them to the brink. And that's exactly what they needed to do.
So it was
just
awesome.
enough.
It was an awesome game.
Best team won.
That'll wrap it up for tonight. We do probably have some Masters content, I would assume, coming this week. And hopefully in the next week or two, we might have a special guest coming on to talk NFL and the NFL draft. So that is still in the works, but we are going to get him on probably in the next week or two. So stay tuned for that. You can catch me at Robo39 or at Tavern Takes. Will, where can they find you?
Champion, Uncle Poppy 26.
Don't forget the champion. #champion.
Be good 5-2 for me. So happy the Gators won. Happy.
Go Gators.
I actually went 2 for 2 in women's and men's bracket.
UConn, shout out UConn.
That's impressive.
Let's go.
We're happy for you, Will. Congratulations.
Go Gators.
Have a good night, y'all.